Hi, we're going to be doing a nice long practice today that would be considered a grounding flow. So if you've already done the full yogic breathing with the Adho Marudanda Mudra practice, you can take this asana practice. This is also, you're welcome to do this as a standalone asana practice. So go ahead and come into a comfortable kneeling position. So you're going to want to have a blanket for some padding underneath your knees and 1 to 2 blocks as needed. And you're going to notice that Haley takes her block on the high horizontal to support ease on her knees. And her shins are supported by the blanket, nice tall pose. So go ahead and bring your hands into that Adho Marudanda Mudra, just like we did earlier. And just take a few breaths here. Close your eyes or soften your gaze and come into your pose. And think about lengthening through the crown of your head and also feeling the support of the earth beneath the shins and your sits bones on the block or the heels. Just about 3 to 5 breaths to begin your asana. Again, you can breathe for a little bit longer to ground the mind and to create an intention around this. You just really want to receive the offerings of that grounding flow. One more breath, and then bringing your hands into tabletop pose. You can bring your blocks to the top of the mat. And just take some cat-cow movement, starting to link movement and breath together here. The inhalation across the front and the exhalation across the back of the body. And you're also welcome to liberate this movement of the spine. We also covered this in the basics, so if you want to move the spine a little bit more, Kaylee's choosing to do some barrel rolls. Yeah, just nice gentle movement there. One last breath. Let's just take a stretch back to child's pose for a couple of breaths, reaching those hands forward just to lengthen, grounding the mind, and re-cementing yourself in this present moment. And the next inhalation will take you into table, tuck the toes, and find your way back into down dog. We talked about modifications in down dog. If down puppy feels better for your body, you can always take that. And then in this pose, we're going to loosen up the root and the pelvis in this flow. Both this one and the next one will do. But go ahead and tread out your heels a little bit. So you're stretching into the calves, a little bit into the hips. Nice deep breaths. Then bring your legs or thighs together in stillness for a moment. So whatever comes first, feet, ankle, knees. And inhale, float your body into your own version of plank. So plank has shoulders over the hands, wrists, or elbows. Knees can be dropped if you like. And just take a few deep breaths. So the breath is going to support you in this posture. You'll notice that Kaylee's shoulders or heart is right in between her shoulders. Move that out of the way. And I'm going to move the blanket out of the way for her. You're welcome to come laying on that. But go ahead and come down onto your bellies. And we're going to bring your hands under the shoulders by the breast tissue or close to the low ribs. And you'll notice that her elbows are elevated off the floor there and that her shoulders are pressing away. Feet are going to push into the earth. Pubic bone presses into the earth. And we're going to come in and out of low cobra. So as she inhales, she'll lift up, exhaling down. You might take a cheek to cheek. You can demonstrate that, Kaylee. As you inhale, lift up, looking to center, and exhale down. Remember that you're reaching through the crown of the head rather than the face. So there's a gentle arc in the neck. You can continue to oscillate for the next couple of breaths, or you can come in and hold, but make sure that you continue to breathe deeply if you hold the pose. One or two last ones until you feel balanced, and then exhale down onto the mat. And we're going to have you come over onto your backs. All right, so when you first arrive, yes, adjust the clothes, make sure that your ponytail is not in the way. Bring yourself into a little ball. And we're going to roll the back out onto the floor. So just a gentle massage of the body down onto the floor. And let's hold that right knee into place and extend the left leg down on the floor. So I'm going to ask Kaylee to flex the foot. So that creates a lot of energy through this whole leg and squeeze that right knee into the chest. You want to think about that freedom of movement through the left pelvis now. It's a very grounding flow. This is what we call Apanavayu, this ground, moveward downward to anchor you. It's really nice antidote for anxiety. And then let the knee release out to the right side, opening the pelvis. Left hand can come to left hip. And you can do little circles with that knee, just kind of lubricating that hip joint, opening the pelvis. Some of you will come all the way down, opening even further. You want to keep that sacrum on the floor. And bring the knee back up to center. And then pull it towards your left shoulder. Let the right hand come down to your butt tissue and give your butt tissue a little love. You can give a little rubbing, a little massage. And then come back into neutral. And plant that right foot down, knee bent. Left leg goes to sky now. Root through the sacrum and send through the heel. See how her foot's flexed here? Now you can either stay in this position or exhale navel to spine and curl up and reach towards the calf with the arms. So she's grabbing hold. Wherever you want to hold, you can also just reach freely if you like. Take a couple of breaths there, reaching through that leg. Inhale. And then as you exhale, pull left knee into chest and extend right leg out on the floor for the same pose called Ardha Uttanasana on that second side. So breathing deep, imagine if that breath is traveling all the way down through the pelvis into the foot. And exhale, all that current is coming back and forth, moving like a river through your body. And that's what we call the pranamaya kosha, the layer of the breath. Let the left knee drift out to the side, right hand can ballast with the hip. And just opening, still pushing through that extended foot, but maybe little circles with that hip joint if you like. Sometimes when we open the knee, we might feel a little pulling or tension on any kind of scar tissue in the abdomen. And then bring the knee back through center and squeeze it towards that right shoulder. Left hand comes to give the left butt cheek a little love. I know that we spend a lot of time not loving our butt cheeks, so this is a nice opportunity to be kind. And then bring the knee back through center, plant that left foot on the ground, and right heel goes to sky. So you'll notice that her leg's not specifically straight. It's very straight for her body, and she's reaching. So you just want to extend to your own sense of length there. She can curl up and reach towards that leg if she likes, or she can stay resting the heart on the floor. You'll notice her breath is still going. Even as she's engaging those core muscles, she's still breathing deeply. And then exhale, bring the foot down, knees bent. And then scooch the feet about hip distance apart, close to your bottom. So you notice her shins are perpendicular here. And I'm going to have her lift into a very gentle bridge pose. Right? So she's soft in her neck. It's not too much of an angle in the heart, and the shoulders are relaxed, open. And she's pushing into the center of her feet. The inner thighs are rolling up. Everything's lifting. You're feeling the sacrum pushing back into place without aggression. One more breath there. Inhale, lift. And then as you exhale, slowly lower down. Nice. Okay, go ahead and extend those legs onto the floor. Take a moment. Digest the presence. Nice. And then go ahead and roll over back onto your bellies. And then if you want to take your blanket underneath your knees to come back to child's pose, go ahead and do that. And any comfortable child's pose for you, whatever feels right for your body. Extending. Ground the mind when you arrive. Again, if you can't reach the earth, then use a block underneath your forehead. And let's take the hands for a walk towards the left. So I'm going to have you reach through that right arm. You can bring the left forearm to your forehead and reach left forearm, reach through that right side body. And what you're going to get is a nice big stretch across that right body. Imagine that breath traveling from fingertips all the way down. The ribs are going to stay nice and open. One more in-breath, reaching. And the exhale pulls you back through neutral. And then we'll take it to the other side. So go ahead and walk the hands over to the other side of the mat. And then breathe deeply into these ribs, into the space between the ribs, all the intercostals getting more space, using the breath as a resource tool to stretch from the inside. And bringing your hands back through center, release both of them down onto the earth. We'll inhale and come into tabletop, tuck the toes. And come, yep, you got it, come into down dog. No, you're good. All right. Nice deep breath there. And come into your own version of a hanging forward bend. Walking to the front of your mat, soft knees. Then as you're ready, go ahead and press into the earth. We're going to sweep up to the sky. If you need to walk your hands, you can. Gather the palms at the top and exhale, hands towards heart center. Nice. And so this is equal standing pose. I'm just going to adjust your shirt for you. Equal standing pose. Inhale, reach I'm going to have you face the camera for a second. So I'm going to have you inhale, reach the arms up. Grab hold of the right wrist with the left hand and then lean towards the left. Yeah. So she's pushing into the right foot. And what that does is it ignites the core energy. So you're going to feel some tension and traction there in the belly. So you're stretching under strength, which is a really powerful thing to do. One more breath. And then back through neutral, just go ahead and switch sides. And so this time she's pressing into the left foot. You're really feeling that engagement across the core, but also spaciousness here. And if this doesn't feel good for your body, you can always take hands to head. Remember the modifications we talked about in our modifications video. Back through center, inhale, exhale, hands to heart center. So let's go ahead and come to the front of the mat, back to where you began, and start an equal standing pose. Okay. Inhale, sweeping up. Actually, pause there. Go ahead and set your blocks on the left and right sides of your mat available for you to grab hold of. So we're actually going to use the blocks or the earth. If you don't have blocks at home, you can use a chair to anchor the hands through this, the seat of the chair to anchor the hands through this next pose. Okay. You want to move that? Yeah, you can move that. Okay. So coming to the front of the mat, bringing hands to heart center. Inhale, release and sweep the arms up and over. Exhale, dive down. Take the hands to the shins. Come halfway up. Yep. And exhale, fold. Let's start with left foot back into a lunge position. Okay, bringing the hands now to the blocks. We're just going to use the blocks to demonstrate that. So I'm going to have her take a nice deep lunge there. Okay, and lightness on the hands. So your hands are there. If she's going to pick her, if her hands were to lift, she doesn't have a whole lot of weight on her hands, but you want to stay connected to the earth. Make sure your hands feel comfortable there on the block. So the in-breath, drop the hips, lift the heart, and the exhale, go ahead and extend back. So I'm going to have you keep your hands grounded the whole time. And part of that reason is each in-breath lifting up, anchoring, and exhale lowering is that when we're connected to the earth, we can get more grounding, more stability as we start to establish this current of flow in the body. In and out. So the breath, in-breath lifts the heart, the exhale surrenders and extends. And you don't need to have full extension in the leg just until you feel resistance. One more exhale. And then inhale, pause there in that lunge, climb the hands to the thighs. This might be where you want to stay, or you can lift the arms up into a higher version of lunge. So your choice, steadiness in breathing, whatever you choose. And you want to think about breathing in the same way as if you were still moving. Right? So there's still that current of prana. One more inhalation. And as you exhale, lower down and ground the left hand to the earth or a block. We're going to take a twist. So she's taking it on low horizontal. Inhale, long spine. And then as you exhale, bring that right hand either to sacrum or to the sky. And you'll notice that her palm came down. That creates more opening across the front, but it still gives her lots of space here in the back of her heart. So she's still pushing that right knee, still stays in towards the torso. Inhale. And then exhale, bring the hands down to the earth. What I'm going to have you do is walk into hanging forward, wide-legged forward bend. Okay? You can take your blocks with you if you need to, or you can just leave them there, whatever feels right for your body, even if you don't use it. So just take a moment there. You notice Kaylee's going to do what feels really good for her in wide-legged forward bend. Her feet are mostly turned forward. You can turn them out slightly if you like that. I'm going to move this just a little so they can see that. And then you want to bring your weight over the center of the feet. Okay, so that's front to back, left to right. We tend to sit back in our heels, so you want to feel that sensation. And just take an inhalation, lengthen the arms long back, and as you exhale, fold the arms. Just kind of a deepening of the pose. So you know she's changing the hand position. This is just for her own edification of what feels really good. I want you to do the same thing at home. One more breath there. And then bring the hands under the shoulders, walk them towards the right foot, and we'll step back into a down dog or down puppy, whatever feels good for your body. All right. So now we'll take left foot forward on the mat, stepping forward into that same lunge. Forgot to tell you to bring your blocks with you. And then you have the blocks there. So really seat deeply into this lunge. You're going to feel your legs activate, strong glute muscles, knee over the ankle joint, and then start to move with breath. The in-breath lifts the heart, the exhale folds to extension. And again, so Kaylee's pretty flexible. She's almost extending to straight leg on that exhalation. You just want to stop when you feel resistance. You don't need a straight leg for this. It's about waking up your root, grounding your root, and really focusing on the strengthening aspect of your practice. We just want to remember those three components: the strength, the stability, and the stretch. Okay, ground into your lunge one more time. Pause here, be stable, breathe, climb up to the thighs if you like, or you can come into full extension if you like. Kaylee's really strong and supported in this posture here. It's a really nice place for her to camp out for a few breaths. So once you find stability, you still want to move the breath, right? Modify the poses to make it work for your body. Exhale, bring the hands down. We're going to ground right hand now and twist to the left, keeping the knee hugged in towards the torso. You'll see her left hand comes to her sacrum. Still reaching that energy from crown to foot, but also that twisting rotation, which is really nourishing and cleansing. One more breath. And exhale, frame the foot. This time step forward on the mat. And hanging forward, fold. Just take one extra breath here. And either walk the hands or sweep to sky. We're going to lift all the way up, reach the arms up, and gather at the heart center. Good. All right. Now pausing here for a moment to feel the seat of the feet. Feel grounded in the earth. And reconnect with the attention of your practice. If the mind has wandered, it's a very normal process. Did you see the pigeon just fly by the window? So we have pigeons outside of our window. Anyway, so it's nature, right, coming to us. Just feeling that sense of earth, feeling reconnected, noticing where the mind was and seeing if you can gather it into the present moment. So as you feel that sense of root underneath your feet, we're going to start on the left foot coming into a tree pose. I'm going to move the block out of the way so you can see her feet. So we'll shift the weight onto the left foot, and the right foot is going to lift up. There are three different ways. You can choose whichever one feels right for you, Kaylee. Three different tree poses. You can come a little kickstand with the toe down, come to the low shin or above the knee into the upper thigh. So she's choosing a low shin presentation of tree pose. One more in-breath, inhale, and exhale. Step the right foot back into warrior one feet. Okay. So hand can stay at heart center there, and you'll notice you want to rotate the pelvis forward and the heart forward. Go ahead and elevate arms if that feels good, or hands to shoulders. And she's reaching that energy through the back outside of the foot and pressing into that front leg. That's beautiful, warrior. Nicely done. Yeah, so feeling that grounding stability in this pose. Inhale, extend the left leg. And exhale, bring hands to low back. She's going to take the back of the hands to her sacrum. Some of you will be able to cross forearms if you like. But she still wants to push, keep that belly kind of gathered in, pressing into the heels, right? Inhale, long spine, and as you exhale, take 1 to 3 breaths to slowly descend down into pyramid pose. So there's an element of balance required here. It may take you time. Make sure that you continue to breathe and lower down. And as you need to soften that front leg, you're welcome to do that. And you don't need to come all the way down. The breath continues to flow. Nice deep breath. Nice. And you'll notice over time that she's getting a little bit deeper. Sometimes it just takes a while to refine the pose, taking one more breath there. Nicely done. Then we'll bring the hands down to the blocks. So go ahead and grab your blocks. I'm actually going to have you scooch back a little bit, Haley, on the mat, just for visual purposes. And what we're going to do from here is come into a supported warrior three. Warrior three is kind of a challenging warrior pose. And you'll start by softening that front leg. We're going to move with control onto the left foot, lifting that right foot off the ground. So you'll notice she's taking the blocks to support her. One of the reasons we like to do supported warrior is it still helps us stay connected to the earth, and then we can refine the pose, rotating the hips to face the ground and really reaching through the sole of that right foot and the crown of the head. So nice long spine, as flat as the back as you can get. She's got a nice deep warrior three. And from this pose, we're going to take another balance pose, an unsupported crane pose. So we'll take our time to pull that right knee through up towards standing. So right knee comes through, hands to heart center, right knee lifts up. Yeah. Breathe deep, a little unsteady, and exhale, feet together. Yes. Now, nice clarifying breath. Good work. You get the applause here. Yeah. Good work. Take a breath. And also notice the difference in sensation between left and right body. You just did a lot of work on one side. You probably feel difference in density, feel difference in current and temperature. Those are all little teasers into that element of prana in our body. Okay, so now we're going to switch onto the other side. Yep, make all your adjustments, pulling up your pants, doing whatever you need to do. I'm going to shift our way onto the right foot. So find a drishti gaze, which I forgot to mention before. This is just that focal point, but you want to gather up the root energy. So imagine your feet are growing roots just like a tree and come into tree on the right foot. So the left foot will come up, either kickstand if balance challenge. You just don't put weight on that foot. It's just there to help you. Low shin or high thigh, but not on the knee joint. And your foot's going to wake up a little. You'll see that her foot wants to work a little bit. Mostly you want to keep your toes somewhat soft. But it does require balance. Trees also move in the wind. One more inhale. And then as you exhale, step into warrior one, the left foot back. So adjust your position, adjust your stance. Yeah. Okay. So when we do, as women, we like to step the left foot off behind the left hip joint and the right foot off. We have a wider hip base than men do. So we want to make sure that we have a nice wide base left to right. Okay. So she's got a nice strong warrior there. Lots of breath, lots of juxtaposition and effort between the left and the right foot. So pushing away from each other, strong grounded energy. Inhale, extend that top leg, front leg, and exhale, hands to low back. So if you did the forearms, you want to reverse the stack. If you did hands, then you want to reverse the top hand there. Heart keeps rotating forward, pelvis is rotated. If this back leg, back foot comes up, then you'll want to step it closer in towards the right foot. You want to stay grounded through this. Think about what a pyramid looks like. You want to stay grounded. Inhale, long spine, push to the heels, and exhale, start to descend. Breath by breath, she's going to go deeper and deeper into the pose. So some of you will be able to come really deep. I want you to really think about the integrity of your foundation. Strengthen the legs, that grounding stability of the earth beneath you. Taking your time and slowly refining the pose. Yes, you notice she keeps kind of rotating the heart towards the earth. Pelvis kind of shifts a little bit. Taking one more breath here. And then release the hands down to the earth or the blocks. We'll just take a moment there to feel pyramid pose with that stability of the ground. It changes the pose when we can relieve our body onto the ground. So we want to work those muscles, work that integrity of the spine. And then when you're ready, we'll come into that warrior three position with the left leg lifting. So feel the earth under the right foot, lifting that left leg, moving blocks or moving the hands. And what we're working on, for the most part, most of you will work on dropping the extended legs hip. So that left hip continues to drop. It's very intense posture. Warrior three is a very challenging pose. It's really nice to start your practice with a supported warrior three. One more in-breath. And then we'll slowly exhale that knee through into standing unsupported crane pose. So left knee comes up, hands to heart. Pelvic floor lifts a little bit. And exhale, feet to heart center. Well done. All right, take a moment, breathe one more breath. A lot of times when we feel something hard that we've completed, we want to rush off and do something else right away. So it's good to digest your success there. Okay, so I'm going to have you take a blanket across the center of your mat. There you go. You can place that wherever you like. And what we're going to do is come into a squat pose. So that brings the body, you can stay there for a second, but the body comes nice and low. This can be a lot of flexion for knees. If this doesn't feel good for your body, one of the things you can do is take a block underneath your seat. You can also come down a little less wide or widen those legs and come down with elbows supported. It's a lot more work for the thighs when you do this, but you're still getting the same sensation of the pelvis kind of falling into the right seat, okay? So we like to start with a little support. Do your heels touch the ground in a squat? Okay, I'm gonna have you do the modified version just cause. So I'm gonna have you take a wide stance on the mat with the heels coming to the blanket and toes turned slightly out. So a lot of us, because we have tension in our calves, do not, our heels pop up, and that's fine. I don't want you to think that that's unsuccessful. But it's nice to have a blanket underneath your heels so you can feel a little more stable. So we'll start with the hands at heart center. Inhale and then slowly lower down into a squat. So like I said, you can take a block underneath you, you can come to a spot. So a high squat, which is what Kaylee's doing right now, is where her elbows are on the inside, the heart is lifted, she's reaching through the crown. She's gonna feel her sacrum drop. Everything kind of resets the pelvis after some of that asymmetrical work. Nicely done. And then I'm gonna have her take a relaxing version of the same squat. So I'm gonna have her walk her hands forward and curl her chest a bit so that she really feels a full, do you feel a little more traction along the spine when you do that? Yeah. So you get a little more traction. It's a little more relaxing way to be in there. And also when your hands are grounded, your feet don't work quite as hard. All right, and then go ahead and have a seat on the mat. Yay. All right, so actually I'm gonna have you take your legs nice and wide. Okay, so the important thing about wide-legged seated poses, like I said, Kaylee's got a lot of flexibility, is that the knees and the toes face the sky. So if your toes turn out or in, soften the knees and adjust the position so that your knees can point skyward. Also, if you come into the pose, will you exaggerate the rounded back thing? Yeah, if you come into the pose and you feel like you're barely hanging on to your seat, then bend the knees more and or bring the feet closer together. Okay, so like I said, Kaylee's got a comfortable practice. Inhale, reach the arms towards the sky, long spine. And as you exhale, fold forward until you feel resistance. And the second you feel resistance, ground the hands, relax the head, and breathe. Close your eyes and go inward. Stretch energy through the crown of the head. Each inhalation and each exhalation, you might pull the belly towards the earth a little more. You notice that Kaylee's also got action through her feet. We want a little bit of action through the feet. It doesn't have to be aggressive action, but just a little bit of action. Nice deep breaths. We'll take about 3 more breaths here. Sometimes it takes these larger muscles in the body time to let go and time to ease. You'll notice that, yes, she's able to go a little bit deeper. Sometimes we have these habit holdings in the body. It can take a while. And be really kind if you're not able to fold as far forward as Kaylee. Your body is where it is right now, and that's what the beauty of yoga. If you can breathe, you can do yoga. That might be my catchphrase for our program. All right, walk your hands back towards your body. So I'm going to have you adjust your blanket so that we can face the camera. And we're going to come into a cross-legged position with the right leg forward. I'm going to do a variation of this too. Okay, we'll do it together. Maybe teamwork. Okay. So cross-legged forward, right leg in front. So what we're going to do is make sure that when we're in this cross-legged pose, you'll see my legs are stacked right now. I'm going to unstack them and turn my feet a little bit more skyward. So I have longer legs. I'm a bigger person than Kaylee is, so I have longer legs. I hope that's not, yeah. I have a longer legs. So you can see a little bit more evidence that I have a broader base there. So we're gonna come into what's called fire log pose. If you come into cross-legged and you have a really intense stretch here, we're just gonna keep you in cross-legged like this. So this is where I'm gonna stay. But if you want to come into full Agni Stambhasana, fire log pose, what we'll do is we'll take that right foot and shin, and stack it right on top of left shin. So you see that Kaylee has a little bit of space between her knee and the earth. That's fine. Are you comfortable there? That's fine. If your knee's way up here and you're feeling like you're barely holding on, chances are this is too intense of a pose. You have a couple choices. You can take a block. Can I have a block? Underneath your knee to support there to feel grounded, or again, bring your leg into that position. So we're going to start here. Pause for a moment, push into the earth. Go ahead and come into your fire log, yeah. So pause for a moment, push your sits bones into the earth and feel the crown lift. We'll inhale, just like we did before. Inhale, arms reach up, and that lengthens the spine. As you exhale, start to fold forward until you feel your resistance, and then drop the hands on the earth. Relax the chin towards the chest, soften the gaze or close your eyes, and breathe deeply. And each exhale here, that's what you want to think about, that exhalation, breathing, grounding you, anchoring you to the earth. Remember that metaphor of the Mudra Mudra, the metaphor of a calm boat on a boat on a calm sea. Nice deep breath. And you'll notice over time, these muscles take a while to release. So we stay a little extra time in these poses that are a little more intense. One last breath. All right, pushing into the earth, rise on up. So we don't want to disperse the energy too much. So we're just going to extend the legs a little bit and maybe give a little rub. Rock side to side if that feels good. Is my mic doing okay? Okay, I keep feeling like it's rubbing against my face, so that's okay. That's on the camera. I don't care. All right, so now we're going to do cross-legged with the left leg in front. All right. So you'll start there, and then if you want to stack into fire log pose, you can, or you can do what I'm doing where one leg is in front of the other. Inhale, reach to sky, push into the earth. And then as you exhale, fold. And the second you feel resistance, bringing the hands down. So I'm a lot tighter on my left side. Most of us are asymmetrical in presentation, so don't worry about that. Just deal with the body that's right in front of you in this moment. Soften your gaze, release tension in your neck. And each inhalation, feel that extension out of your root. And exhale, perhaps you soften your resistance a little bit more. And the breath now, this is when we return back to that compass breath, the deep, nourishing flow of breath that's always available to us. It creates balance for our nervous system. Nice, deep exhalations. And every yoga practice has a typical arc where we pull the energy up and then we want to bring it back down again. We want to recenter. Last exhalation. All right, nicely done. Go ahead and lift up. This time we're going to bring our feet, you can stay in this pose, or you can stay facing forward. We're going to bring our feet out in front of us, although my legs are too long for the camera shot. Actually, go ahead and turn sideways. We want to make sure you're going to stay in the camera shot. Okay. Legs forward. Again, knees and toes face skyward. We're going to come into folding forward, forward fold rather. So if you need to soften your knees, you'll notice that she's pretty upright here, but if you feel rounded again, bend your knees as much as you want. Inhale, lengthen to sky, and exhale, fold forward. Let the hands release down to shins or earth, whatever feels natural. Relax the chin, and just breathe into that. Still extending with a sensation of just energy. You don't need to straighten those legs, but they can have energy through the sole of the foot. So you're getting a simultaneous stretch across the back of the legs and the back of the body. This is a way to square off any asymmetry that you might have done. One last breath. Good. And rise back up. Okay. So I'm going to have you come onto your backs. I'm going to turn you around so that your head is facing that direction. Okay. And then we're going to, let's go ahead and take a good morning stretch. Like reaching the arms overhead, extend, roll fingers and wrists, and ankles and toes. One more in-breath, and then on the exhale, make yourself into a little ball. And then just massage yourself out onto the ground there. Yeah. Okay, and so keeping the knees there, go ahead and drop your arms out into a low T. So palms down. Okay. Inhale, and then as you exhale, let your knees drop to your right, coming towards me a little bit, and the gaze can go left. And then you'll notice, just take a second and let everything go. Let everything relax, the knees and the legs come down. It's okay if your shoulder pops up. You can adjust the position as you like. And this is where we're starting to really anchor ourselves. It's the end of our physical practice. Last few postures. Just nice deep breathing. You'll feel a little release across the abdomen here. The last bits of tension and residue to release for your practice of the day. Yeah. One more breath there. And then gently come back into neutral position. If you need to square off your body or adjust, you can. And then inhale, exhale, fold to the other side. So you'll notice now that she's facing the other direction, her spine comes getting this nice full twist here. Gaze can turn to the right or stay neutral as you like, and you're getting this beautiful release. It's really nice when you have somebody pushing on you, right, to get that release. But this nice release across the QL, across all of those digestive organs, pelvis, muscles that feed into the pelvis, iliopsoas. A really nice way to release. One last exhale till you feel balanced. And then come back up into neutral position. Squeeze those knees into shoulders. Now you can finish with this posture, or you can take a happy baby pose. And happy baby is where you grab the outside of the feet. So your arms thread up and grab hold of the outside and drop the sacrum down. So this is a really intense stretch, but it's a really wonderful way to end each practice. Many practices are ended this way in my program. If there's anything else that you need to do, any other movement that's going to be symmetrical and balancing, you can find that. And once you feel complete, we'll release into a Shavasana posture. Okay. So Shavasana, traditional corpse pose. Kaylee has a pretty traditional expression of Shavasana pose. So the feet are a little bit wider than hip distance apart, toes are turned a little slightly out, and palms are away from the torso, turned up. Now a lot of us get into this pose and don't feel comfortable, so if you need to make any modifications, bringing cushions under the knees, you're welcome to do that. Take one clarifying breath, inhale through nose, and a nice long exhale out. Close the eyes and just take the next few breaths to allow yourself this space of lying down. I know there's an urge to hurry up and shut off the video and maybe go on to the next thing, and I really invite you to take this time for integration. Feel the body being supported and absorbed by the ground. Feel that sensation of being that boat on a calm sea. Your breath is going to find its own way now, and allow yourself to be a passenger on that breath, feeling the current come and go quietly through the being, allowing yourself this sense of release. Now you can stay here for several moments if you like. I would encourage you to stay at least 3 minutes. If you can spend more time, about 3 more minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes is ideal. But this is where I'm going to leave you. I'm going to let Kaylee relax here on the mat. And again, email me if you have any questions, but thank you for joining us for practice today. Namaste.